Okay, welcome to our controlled articular rotations video for the spine. So we'll go through some basic stuff and then we'll progress also through some a little bit more complex movements for the spine where it takes a little bit more attention, a little bit more concentration, but a little bit more ability. So even if you're not able to do it in the beginning, the more you practice these, the better your body gets at doing them. So the first one, super simple, a lot of people are familiar with this. From a quadruped position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Make sure we don't rock. Some people do this rocking motion when they do a flexion extension of the spine. We want to make sure we avoid that. We stay steady. I'm going to round or flex the spine. And notice my pelvis is tucking under and my chin is also tucking because my neck is part of my spine and my lumbar goes all the way into that pelvis, rounding. Now we're going to arch, extending the spine, round, pelvis and head move with the whole rest of the spine. I'm going to avoid moving at the shoulder blades on this as much as I can. If you do it in the beginning, hey, that's fine if you have trouble, but try to avoid moving at the shoulder blades as well. So I'm keeping my shoulder blades steady as I go through these motions. Okay, so now that we got that one down, we're going to take this one up a level. So what I want you to think is split your spine in half, upper and lower halves. Now we're going to move one half at a time only. Same position. I'm going to start with a rounded position, with a flexed position. And now starting with my neck, and bring my head up, and one vertebra at a time. That's what I'm trying to imagine. I'm going to move only through my upper spine, upper half. As far as I can, my whole lower half is locked. Now, I round it all again. Okay, so again, neck, upper, round. Alright, now I'm going to start with the opposite position, arching, and now the pelvis is going to start the motion, and then the rest of the lower half of the spine, and back. If you have a mirror, you can do this next to, it helps quite a bit as well. But we're learning to control our spine because the spine is various joints linked together. Now, as you progress in that and you start getting better, you can add more segments. You can do thirds, you can do fourths. Eventually, you can add a whole slow wave-like motion when you get much better spinal control. So that's more in the rounding and arching movement of the spine. Next, we're going to get a little bit more side to side. Alright, so now we can do this also kneeling, standing position, whichever works best for you. I prefer to also bring the hands behind the head just because it helps people kind of get a better sense of the motion, and I prefer to do it usually standing just because people will be able to tell if they're swinging back and forth a lot easier than sitting on the ground. So from here, I'm going to bring my hands interlaced behind my head. The first motion, I'm going to round and just from the upper half of our spine, so kind of like chest and up. I'm going to round, I'm going to tuck that chin and bring my elbows together. And I'm going to look up, elbows wide. Crunch down. From the side view, it's only my upper half moving, so I'm not going like this. Okay, that's why I usually like this standing, because you'll notice if you do that motion. Only from the chest up. Rounding, elbows together, looking up, opening, extending, elbows wide. Now, the other part to this is a reaching up to the ceiling, reaching up. So now I'm adding some side bending of that upper half. And avoid doing this hip motion side to side. Want to isolate the spinal motion. Now we're going to connect the dots. So imagine you have a pen sticking out the top of your head, and we're trying to draw a huge halo in the air. And I'm going to crunch down, slowly go into one side. I'm going to go ahead and reach up for the ceiling with one elbow. I'm going to start going back, opening the chest. Go to one side, go to the other side, I should say. Reaching the other elbow for the ceiling, and I start crunching down again. And I repeat smooth motions through these. I'll reverse as well, because we want to be able to move both directions. Notice I'm going slow to make sure I'm going through the full range of motion. What we don't use, we lose. All right, so that's that part. Now we're going to do it one more. It's a little more complex. And if you have a dancing background at all, like contemporary dancing or anything like that, if your kids maybe do, this is something that dancers usually practice with. So what I want you to do this time, again, hips don't move, but it usually helps to keep a little bit of knee bend on this. Now I want you to think the point we're moving is right here, the bottom of the sternum, so right in that low chest there, low chest line right in the middle. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring that point forward, and I'm going to bring it back. So from the side, I'm going to let my arms move here because I'm going to need them for balance. I bring this forward, and I bring it back. But again, the legs, we're trying to avoid the motion there. Okay, the next one, side to side. Again, slightly bent. I'm going to go side to side. Now, one thing is we're making like an S curve through the spine. The shoulders stay level. If it helps you to bring your arms straight out horizontally, if you have a mirror, I have a mirror here. I can use that to see if I'm doing the airplane. We don't want to do airplanes. Now, I connect the dots. Squatting a little bit. I pull forward. I can bring my arms back for balance. I go to one side. I go back. I go to the other side. Forwards. And slow to make sure we're getting the motion down. Really need to focus on this one. Next, we're getting into the neck. Neck is part of the spine too, so we need to treat it very well. It also holds up our head, which is very important. The neck is functional. So first, what we're going to do is go forward and back. And keep your head level here. So don't tuck the chin, don't bring the chin up. We're keep it level. Stick it out like you want to get punch in the chin. And then stick it back, maybe like quadruple chins. Here. I'm not moving the torso anymore. Now, keeping the head level, what we're going to do here is go side to side. Oh, I got a little crack on that one. Side to side. So this one's really tough to get. You might not have any motion. You might be like, that's as far as I get. That's all right. Just go as far as you can. One side, other side. If you have a mirror, that helps too. Now, we can try to connect the dots. We're going forward, side, back, other side, and forward. Slow to make sure we get the full range of motion and control. And that is it for the spine. There's definitely more things you can play around with as you progress in your ability to control it.